I
Put me all over the place.
what are we going to do when we'll bring it back to aviation? How much longer before that's
What, gone?
yeah
One generation. I don't think our grandkids are going to be flying.
at all?
No.
Airplanes.
No, I disagree with
No,
that.
they'll fly airplanes, but I think leisurely. I think by then, I think they're going to be like. So think about this: not our kids, our grandkids, but our kids now are so into technology from such an early age.
Yeah.
Tactile, being able to see it and just and think in terms of that next generation, and they accept, machines doing things for them more readily than we ever did, right? And then generation before, yeah, hell, 100 years ago we wouldn't dream of getting behind something or riding on a carriage that wasn't pulled by horses.
100%.
We wouldn't dream about getting into a machine and allowing it to take us somewhere.
I think once self-driving cars hit critical mass, it's gonna open the mental gateway.
And it already started. Think about it.
Mhm.
Look how many people buy this Tesla auto, and still started killing people because they were doing, being stupid or whatever. I don't even know if they were being stupid. They were testing it to its fullest capabilities. And
I believe we like to call it max performing.
It's definitely max performing on a different level. So, I think I'd be hard pressed to see us.
Okay.
Yeah, it just can't possibly be that way.
Well, Garmin's got Autoland for
Garmin
GA.
does. It's a button you hit when you get an emergency, and it'll take you now here. Okay, here's the next piece of that. So I always bring this point up. My buddies are always like, "Well, you're going to lose your job soon." I'm like, "Well, the airplane doesn't have auto taxi and auto takeoff anywhere built into any system, so I'm not real worried about that."
Not yet.
Not yet. They have auto land, except for the 330-900, which can't do it in a bunch of conditions, but that's a different story. My question is it going to be a new airplane? Totally new design, new everything?
It has to be.
Or is it going to be a retrofit? Because now wait, why does it have to be? Because if I'm an airline, if I'm Southwest, I don't want to pay all this money for a new airplane when I've got all my 737s. If I can retrofit them for 25 cents on the dollar.
Sure you will. They're going to give a hell of a deal. Not only that, these companies are going to come to the airlines and go, oh, and by the way, you're going to save, $500 million in training, in salary, in healthcare, and all these things that
but if I could save half a billion and still save on the retrofit of airplane,
I think both.
Be a hell of a retrofit. Here's the thing. I think the modern planes that we have now, like if we're talking, current stuff that's being built right now, like the Airbuses and
777.
Yeah, I think those could probably get retrofitted. But like stuff that was built, even in the 2000s, I don't think that'd be too much of an undertaking.
Yeah, but in 15 years, those aircraft are going to turn over anyways.
Correct. Well, and I think by then, in that generation, and another, so a generation is what, 60 years or so.
Now the way you're saying it, I totally agree. I'm saying in this era, it's still not until it's cost effective.
Yeah.
Once it's cost effective, then boom, it's done. The other thing, and this was the other discussion I've had with a bunch of people, is not only do you have to change the airplanes, the whole dynamic of how they're built, but you have to change every piece of the landscape that aviation is built in, and that is
the infrastructure.
That is the government involved, and that is why the delay could be way longer than we expect. Because
in essence, the delay is going to be with ATC.
Well, I think the airports, the way the airports are built is going to be a dynamic change and difference. It's going to take.
I think it's easier than you think. Think about
probably have ground
transponder on in the parking.
Yeah, ground controllers. I don't mean from like ATC ground controller, but you have somebody on the ground manually taxiing the airplanes.
Like
from a virtual cockpit.
I think there's way more than just the taxi piece. You can get there's all this other stuff, like you're going to start shortening runways up because you're going to want to build on that land. You're going to want to take land away from the airport. You won't need as long of runways because the computer can gnat's ass brake and stop the airplane. The takeoff, all that data is going to be spot on every time. It's never going to change. It's going to be the same set for weather. And that's when
people all right, you're starting to scare me.
But my thing is because the government still has a lot involved in aviation, that's what's going to take it so long. I'd rather Hyperloop 1 be invented tomorrow and we just go from New York to LA in an hour and a half on a train
Yep.
and a
Ooh.
tube.
On this topic, though, here's a question for the three of you guys. If this happens, do we all, consensus that it's probably going to start with the cargo airliners?
Oh yeah.
Cargo
already
and
started.
military. It's already started with the military, really.
It's already started with cargo and military, definitely with the drones and stuff that are happening. You see how big that what is it? Which one's almost as big as a 737? It's huge. I was taxiing behind one once, Global.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy cow! It's huge.
That thing's almost 30 years old.
Yeah, and that's old technology. Can you believe that?
Super old.
So
they can't taxi it. They can't taxi it. They have to drag it everywhere. It taxis at like 2 miles an hour. It's so
2
bad.
miles.
I've seen it, dude. It's
In
bad.
lieu of the KC-46 debacle, I think that air refueling will be the first automated platform.
I totally agree with that.
Well, the
what was
Navy's
that
already
movie
trying to
that
do
had
it.
the?
Yep.
Well, that movie that had the blimp up in the air and everybody kept going up to it. It was a dirigible that was a refueler. Did you ever see that? It was a James Bond or something.
Really?
Yeah, it was a dirigible up in the air that had all these
Like hoses
hanging
just shooting
Yeah.
out of it everywhere.
and it just went in this huge circle, and you would go up, tack, and come back down and do your thing. And there was, I think it was a James Bond movie, maybe not. I don't know. It was pretty cool how they.
That's a great idea.
There went that job.
Why don't they do that?